Have you ever met a woman and felt like there was a book inside her, pages you just couldn't read? What if I told you there's a way to understand her thoughts, her feelings, even her desires without her saying a single word? Today, we're diving into the secrets of female attraction, not cheesy pickup lines or tricks, but real human psychology that lets you connect truly and deeply. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll start seeing the signs she's giving you, almost as if she's reading to you from her own story. When it comes to attraction, most people immediately think about appearances. The way she dresses, the way she moves, or the curve of her smile often becomes the first thing men notice. But understanding a woman's mind goes far deeper than what meets the eye. Her thoughts, emotions, and inner world are the true markers of who she is, and these are the elements that define lasting attraction. To truly connect, one must shift their focus from the surface to the layers beneath, the hopes she harbors, the insecurities she masks, the passions that ignite her spirit. A woman's mind is a labyrinth of experiences, beliefs, and subtle signals, and the most compelling attraction comes from noticing these hidden nuances rather than just admiring the reflection she presents. Learning to see her thoughts, her reasoning, the way she perceives the world, allows a man to engage with her on a level far beyond casual conversation or fleeting encounters. The first step in understanding her mind is cultivating empathy, not sympathy. Empathy is the ability to feel alongside her, to recognize what she feels without judgment or the urge to solve everything. Women are often finely attuned to emotional cues, and when a man acknowledges them thoughtfully, it communicates more than any compliment could. It's about listening to the subtle variations in her tone, the words she chooses, and even what she leaves unsaid. Often a pause or hesitation reveals more about her state of mind than 1,000 spoken sentences. By paying attention to these micro moments, a man begins to understand her reasoning, her values, and the thought processes that shape her reactions to the world. This understanding cannot be forced. It requires patience, attention, and the willingness to step outside one's own perspective in order to truly meet hers. Another essential element of understanding her mind is recognizing the complexity of her emotions. Women are not monolithic in their feelings. They experience a spectrum of emotions simultaneously, and attraction is influenced by how well a man can navigate this emotional landscape. Observing how she responds to situations, the intensity of her laughter, or the quiet vulnerability she occasionally displays provides insight into her personality and what matters to her. It's crucial to appreciate that these emotional layers are not weaknesses to be managed or manipulated. They are the very essence of her humanity. A man who acknowledges this complexity and engages with it respectfully demonstrates emotional intelligence, which is a key driver of deep, meaningful attraction. In contrast, focusing solely on physical appearance reduces her to a superficial image, ignoring the richness of her inner life that truly defines her identity. Understanding her mind also involves appreciating her individuality, her personal interests, opinions, and ambitions. Women are drawn to men who show genuine curiosity about their perspectives, who ask thoughtful questions and remember the answers. Engaging with her mind means exploring the ideas she finds stimulating, the books or music that resonate with her, and the dreams that keep her awake at night. It's about more than just small talk. It's about meaningful dialogue that allows both parties to reveal their authentic selves. By connecting through shared ideas, debates, and reflections, a man signals that he values her intellect as much as her appearance, creating a foundation for a relationship that transcends superficial attraction. The power of emotional connection is one of the most profound and often overlooked aspects of attraction. While physical attraction might spark interest initially, it is emotional connection that sustains desire, intimacy, and trust over time. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who can engage with their inner world, who can acknowledge, reflect, and resonate with the emotions they experience. Emotional connection is not about performing or pretending to care. It is about genuinely stepping into her emotional space and meeting her there with understanding and presence. When a woman feels that her thoughts, feelings, and vulnerabilities are recognized, she begins to let down walls that often remain invisible to the casual observer. This kind of connection is magnetic because it affirms her humanity and creates a space where she can exist fully without judgment, where her emotions are seen as valid and meaningful rather than something to be dismissed or fixed. Building emotional connection begins with attentive listening, but not the kind of listening that simply waits for your turn to speak. It is active, intentional, and deeply empathetic. It requires noticing the shifts in her tone, the pauses in her speech, the subtle hesitations that hint at feelings she may not openly express. Often, what she doesn't say carries as much weight as what she does. By listening attentively, a man conveys that he values her inner experiences, and this validation strengthens the bond between them. Emotional connection is also about mirroring her emotions thoughtfully, not through mimicry, but through recognition and acknowledgement. If she shares excitement, he can reflect that energy without overshadowing it. If she expresses frustration or sadness, he can validate it with understanding rather than rushing to solve it. This balance of empathy and respect demonstrates emotional intelligence and cultivates a sense of trust, allowing her to feel safe in revealing the more delicate aspects of her inner life. Another critical aspect of emotional connection is vulnerability. It is not enough to simply respond to her emotions. A man must also be willing to share his own in a sincere and measured way. Vulnerability signals authenticity and humanity. When a woman sees that he can articulate his feelings, admit uncertainties, or reflect on his own experiences with honesty, it fosters a deeper sense of intimacy. Emotional connection is a two-way street. It thrives when both parties feel seen and heard, when there is an unspoken understanding that each person can reveal themselves without fear of judgment. This shared vulnerability can transform interactions from casual conversation into moments of profound resonance, where the emotional exchange itself becomes a foundation for attraction that goes beyond superficial appeal. Emotional connection also requires consistent attention and presence over time. It is not built in a single conversation or a few grand gestures. It grows gradually, nurtured by repeated acts of understanding, empathy, and thoughtful engagement. Small actions, remembering details she has shared, acknowledging milestones that matter to her, offering support in moments of difficulty, accumulate to reinforce the sense that her emotional world is valued. This cumulative effect creates an invisible thread between two people, an unspoken bond that strengthens with each interaction. Women often notice this subtle yet powerful pattern, sensing the depth of connection even when it is not explicitly verbalized. And it is this ongoing emotional resonance that often becomes the defining factor in attraction. When it comes to attraction, what isn't said often speaks louder than the words themselves. Body language is a language of its own, subtle yet profound, revealing feelings, intentions, and levels of comfort that words sometimes fail to convey. Women, in particular, are highly attuned to these cues. The way a man stands, the angle of his posture, the way he moves his hands, even the rhythm of his breathing can communicate volumes without a single word. Learning to read these signals is like unlocking a hidden dimension of human interaction. It allows a man to understand not only what she is thinking or feeling, but also how connected she is in the moment. A genuine smile that reaches the eyes, a subtle lean forward during conversation, or the mirroring of gestures are all signs that indicate comfort, interest, and engagement, while crossed arms, lack of eye contact, or distracted glances can signal detachment or discomfort. Observing these signs with patience and attention opens the door to understanding her on a deeper, unspoken level. Reading body language is more than just noticing individual gestures. It's about understanding the context, the micro expressions, and the rhythm of interaction. Every movement she makes is like a sentence in the story of her emotions. A slight tilt of the head when listening, the way she touches her hair or face, the positioning of her feet, all these small details give insight into her state of mind. Some signals are subtle, almost imperceptible, yet they carry powerful meaning. Women often communicate attraction, curiosity, or hesitation through these tiny cues before ever articulating them. A man who is attentive to these signs can respond intuitively, aligning his own gestures and presence in a way that fosters comfort and builds attraction organically. The key is not to overanalyze or overreact, but to observe with clarity and respond naturally, allowing the interaction to flow rather than forcing a narrative that doesn't exist. Equally important is understanding that body language reflects emotional states, not just social cues. When a woman feels safe, relaxed, and connected, her body naturally expresses openness, relaxed shoulders, fluid movements, soft eye contact. Conversely, when she feels uncertain, stressed, or distant, her body may close off, creating subtle barriers that communicate her need for space. Recognizing these signs allows a man to adjust his approach in real time, creating an environment where she can feel understood and respected. This attunement demonstrates emotional intelligence and sensitivity, qualities that women often find deeply attractive because they signal awareness beyond the superficial. Attraction, in this sense, is not just about charm or verbal skill, it's about presence, responsiveness, and the ability to engage with the silent language that governs human connection. Body language also communicates confidence and authenticity in ways words often cannot. A man who carries himself with grounded posture, steady eye contact, and relaxed gestures exudes calm assurance that naturally draws attention. Women can sense the difference between forced bravado and genuine composure. Confidence that is embodied rather than performed is magnetic because it signals emotional stability and self awareness. Likewise, subtle cues such as nodding to indicate understanding, maintaining appropriate physical distance, and responding with congruent facial expressions reinforce a sense of alignment and mutual understanding. In essence, body language is the bridge between thought and perception, between emotion and expression, and learning to read and embody it effectively allows for an unspoken yet powerful connection that goes far beyond what words alone can achieve. Confidence and arrogance are two qualities that are often mistaken for one another, yet they are fundamentally different, and the way a man embodies either can dramatically shape attraction. Confidence is quiet, grounded, and authentic. It doesn't demand attention or validation. It simply exists in the way a man carries himself, speaks, and interacts with the world. Arrogance, on the other hand, is loud, performative, and insecure at its core. While confidence draws people in effortlessly, arrogance tends to push them away, even if it initially seems compelling. Women, in particular, are deeply sensitive to the difference between the two because they respond not just to words or actions, but to the energy behind them. Confidence is magnetic because it communicates self assuredness without needing to prove anything, whereas arrogance creates distance because it signals a lack of empathy and humility. Understanding this distinction is key to cultivating attraction that is sustainable, meaningful, and rooted in respect. True confidence begins with self awareness. A confident man knows his strengths and accepts his weaknesses without feeling the need to exaggerate or dominate. He speaks with clarity, listens without judgment, and engages with curiosity rather than control. Confidence is reflected in the way he makes others feel safe, valued, and appreciated. It is not about dominating conversations or boasting about achievements. It is about embodying a sense of inner stability that allows him to interact with ease and authenticity. Women often pick up on these subtle signals: a relaxed tone of voice, a calm demeanor, a willingness to admit mistakes or show vulnerability. These traits convey security and self respect, creating a magnetic pull that is deeply attractive because it suggests emotional maturity and a capacity for genuine connection. Arrogance, in contrast, often masquerades as confidence but is fueled by insecurity. An arrogant man may boast, interrupt, or seek constant validation to assert dominance or superiority. His confidence is conditional, reliant on the reactions of others to reinforce his sense of self worth. While this may initially appear attractive or impressive, it quickly becomes off putting because it communicates a lack of empathy, emotional awareness, and humility. Women are rarely drawn to arrogance for the long term because it signals a self centered approach to relationships rather than an ability to connect meaningfully. Arrogance may create temporary fascination, but it rarely fosters trust, intimacy, or respect, the foundations of lasting attraction. Recognizing this difference is crucial as it allows a man to refine his energy, ensuring that his presence is inviting rather than intimidating. Developing authentic confidence involves both mindset and behavior. It requires self reflection to understand one's values, boundaries, and desires, as well as the willingness to act in alignment with them without seeking external approval. Confident men are comfortable in silence, able to hold space for others, and do not need to impress or dominate to be noticed. They understand that attraction is not about showing superiority, but about being fully present, emotionally available, and self assured in a way that naturally inspires curiosity and respect. Women are instinctively drawn to this energy because it communicates reliability, stability, and a depth of character, creating a foundation for connection that goes beyond surface level charm or superficial gestures. Mystery and subtlety are among the most understated yet powerful elements of attraction, and they are often misunderstood as games or manipulation when, in reality, they are a natural expression of depth and self awareness. Mystery is not about withholding information to confuse or trick someone, it is about allowing yourself to be gradually discovered, giving a woman space to explore who you are at her own pace. Subtlety complements this by communicating interest, emotion, and intention in ways that are gentle and understated rather than overt or aggressive. Together, they create a magnetic tension that draws a woman in, inviting curiosity and engagement without forcing it. Women are instinctively attuned to authenticity, and when a man exudes a quiet confidence and layers of intrigue, it signals that there is more to discover, a richness beneath the surface that cannot be grasped all at once. This is what makes mystery and subtlety so compelling. They respect her intelligence, her intuition, and her capacity to perceive and interpret the nuances of human interaction. The essence of mystery lies in selective revelation. It is about showing parts of yourself while leaving other aspects intentionally unspoken, allowing her to fill in the gaps with her own imagination and curiosity. This does not mean being secretive or dishonest. It means embracing the natural rhythm of human connection where discovery unfolds over time. Sharing stories, thoughts, and emotions strategically and sincerely gives her insight into your character while preserving the intrigue that keeps her engaged. The power of subtlety lies in how these revelations are delivered through tone, timing, body language, and even pauses that convey meaning without forceful explanation. A casual smile, a lingering glance, or a gentle, well timed compliment can communicate more than pages of words, creating an understated allure that feels effortless and genuine. Women notice these subtleties because they reflect awareness and intention, signaling that a man is present, thoughtful, and emotionally attuned. Subtlety also extends to the way a man expresses interest and attraction. Overzealous declarations or constant demonstrations of desire can feel overwhelming and diminish curiosity, whereas a subtle approach allows tension and intrigue to build naturally. For example, showing attentiveness without hovering, offering compliments without overdoing them, and engaging in meaningful conversation while leaving room for reflection can create a sense of depth and sophistication. Mystery is maintained not by withholding respect or attention, but by allowing interactions to unfold organically, creating an unspoken rhythm that encourages exploration rather than consumption. Women are drawn to men who can balance presence with restraint because it signals confidence, emotional intelligence, and a recognition that true connection cannot be forced. Another key element of mystery and subtlety is the ability to cultivate an internal world that is rich, fulfilling, and independent. A man who has passions, goals, and experiences beyond the relationship naturally exudes intrigue because he is complete in himself, not defined solely by external validation or the pursuit of attention. This sense of completeness allows him to engage with women from a place of authenticity rather than neediness, which is profoundly attractive. Subtle cues, a knowing smile, an intriguing anecdote, a quiet confidence in conversation hint at a depth that invites exploration. Mystery is not manipulation. It is the art of allowing your inner life to shine gradually, letting her discover layers of personality, intellect, and emotion in a way that feels natural and compelling rather than rushed or forced. Respect, boundaries, and authenticity form the foundation of genuine attraction, yet they are often overlooked in the pursuit of connection. True attraction is not about persuasion, manipulation, or bending someone's will. It is about engaging in a way that honors both your own needs and hers. Respect is the cornerstone. It is visible in how you listen, how you respond, and how you consider her thoughts and emotions as equally valid as your own. Women are particularly sensitive to this because respect signals not only emotional maturity but also safety. When a man demonstrates respect consistently, it creates an environment where vulnerability is possible, curiosity is welcomed, and trust can flourish. Without respect, even the most confident gestures or emotional insights lose their impact because a woman instinctively recognizes whether her autonomy and feelings are valued or ignored. Boundaries are the natural extension of respect. They exist both ways, for her and for you, and their recognition is crucial in cultivating healthy magnetic attraction. Boundaries communicate self awareness and self respect, showing that you are grounded and conscious of your limits while being attuned to hers. They are not walls to keep people out, but frameworks for authentic interaction, creating clarity and safety in emotional exchanges. A man who understands and respects boundaries demonstrates that he is capable of honoring her space, her emotions, and her individuality without imposing his own agenda. Likewise, setting your own boundaries shows that you are self assured and conscious of your needs, which paradoxically increases attraction because it conveys stability, confidence, and a sense of integrity. Women are drawn to men who can navigate these unspoken lines with awareness, sensitivity, and consistency because it signals that they can be trusted to interact without pressure, coercion, or overstepping. Authenticity is the third pillar that binds respect and boundaries into meaningful connection. Authenticity means showing up as your true self without masks, pretense, or performative behaviors designed to elicit approval. It is not about perfection, but about alignment between who you are internally and how you express yourself externally. Women can detect inauthenticity almost instinctively, and attempts to impress through exaggeration or manipulation rarely succeed in building long term attraction. When a man communicates authentically, whether through his words, actions, or subtle nonverbal cues, he signals integrity, confidence, and emotional depth. Authenticity also requires vulnerability, the courage to share your thoughts, emotions, and experiences honestly, even when there is risk of judgment or rejection. This level of openness fosters trust and intimacy, allowing her to feel safe enough to reciprocate, creating a profound sense of connection that transcends superficial charm or fleeting allure. These three elements, respect, boundaries, and authenticity, are interconnected in subtle and powerful ways. Respect ensures that interactions are rooted in consideration and empathy. Boundaries provide structure and safety for mutual engagement, and authenticity guarantees that the connection is real, meaningful, and sustainable. Together, they create a framework in which attraction is not forced or superficial, but emerges naturally from mutual understanding, emotional intelligence, and genuine care. A man who embodies these qualities demonstrates maturity, self awareness, and a capacity for deep connection, qualities that women intuitively recognize as attractive. Practicing respect, honoring boundaries, and showing authenticity in every interaction cultivates trust, comfort, and intrigue simultaneously, creating an environment where attraction can grow organically without games, pretenses, or artificial pressure. In the end, attraction is never about superficial gestures, empty words, or tricks designed to impress. It is about understanding, presence, and authenticity. From reading her mind and tuning into her emotions, to noticing the silent language of her body, the difference between confidence and arrogance, and the magnetic pull of mystery and subtlety, every element works together to create a connection that is deep, meaningful, and lasting. Respect, boundaries, and authenticity act as the foundation, ensuring that everything you do comes from a place of integrity, emotional intelligence, and genuine care. When you embrace these principles, you are not just learning to attract a woman, you are learning to truly connect, to see her, hear her, and understand her in ways most people never take the time to. It's in these small, intentional moments, these acts of presence and understanding, that real attraction is born because it is rooted not in appearance or performance, but in the shared human experience of empathy, curiosity, and respect.